What's happening, everybody? It's Michael, and today I'm really excited to talk about an awesome experience I had this past weekend. I have never before in my life been to a game convention, and I went to the Southeast Game Exchange, which is apparently the largest game convention in the Southeast, hence the name. And I met people from all over the region. People drove 12 or more hours. And there are people obviously who are attending who came from California. I saw some of the gaming YouTubers that were pickers and resellers and that kind of stuff who were there, who came from as far away as California, the West Coast anyway. So that, obviously there was a pretty diverse spread of folks from all over the place. And I'm going to show kind of scatter throughout this video just some shots that I took. I didn't film a ton while I was there because I was taking it in. It was 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday and Sunday were the shortest days. Saturday was all day. But Friday was opening night, and it was awesome. Honestly, it was one of the most fun things I've done in a very long time, for a lot of reasons. One being, there were so many things that I saw that were just like pieces of my childhood, pieces of things that I remember. Like, I'd see cover art from Sega Genesis games. That I was like, man, why do I recognize that? Where does that? And this memory just comes up out of nowhere from the depths. It was just really fun seeing, for example, someone was selling old vintage GameStop uniform, and just from the early aughts. Really just a fun community to be around, and it was a lot of fun. It was a blast. The second day I took my kids with me, which was really fun to kind of share in that nerdy time. There was a bunch of arcade machines, so we had a lot of fun playing Street Fighter, and a bunch of really old school games like Pac-Man. And then everything in between, a bunch of crazy Japanese, arcade games on these awesome rigs that had multiple games on them. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, there were consoles and games for sale, tons and tons and tons of games for sale. Not everything was an incredible deal, but I did score a few deals, and I'm going to talk about those today. So this is sort of a haul video, and kind of sharing some of my thoughts on what to expect if you've ever been to a game convention. So I went kind of hoping that if I could find a Wii U, I would totally pick that up if I get one for a good deal, because they're, at least in my market, they're really hard to find intact, where you have a controller in the console and maybe a game. And so you can't get all the components all at once. You can kind of piece them together on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, but I haven't seen a full Wii U in decent shape. So that was on my list. And obviously with that, as you can see from things on the back here, I'm a massive Zelda fan. The two games that I wanted more than anything were Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD, because those are games that have not yet been ported to the Nintendo Switch. I wanted my kids to be able to play them, and obviously I just want to relive them myself. And from what I have seen, I had not played them on the Wii U. I didn't have a Wii U before, but from what I've seen, the Wii U version of these games it's just like the definitive experience of them so far, unless we get some kind of crazy complete remaster where they redo the whole thing on the Switch 2 with new hardware and all that kind of stuff. It could happen, I guess. Unless we get that, I think this is kind of the best we're going to get out of it. And so I was in the market for those, and sort of anything else that caught my eye, both Switch games and anything else. I picked up a Wii U. I found one. It's the black 32 gigabyte edition. I had no idea when I bought it. I got a little bit of a deal on it. I can tell that story in a minute. But I had no idea that it was the Mario Kart edition, so now I have two copies of Mario Kart 8. The first one, of course, is the edition that I have on the Switch, that we have as a family, and then now I have one on the Wii U. It would be really cool if there was a way to sync them together, because they're literally the same game. The experience is a little bit different, I guess. But that would be fun to be able to play, just like I'm at a LAN party, multi-TVs, linking it up, one on the Wii U, one on the Switch. I haven't even, that's probably not possible. But anyway, all that being said, now I want to talk about some of the games I picked up. Because I have a Wii U now, I didn't have any games, obviously. I have a Wii, and a few games of those left. Most of the games I had on my Wii have vanished over time when I, moved a bunch of times. Once I graduated from college, I moved a lot, and I lost most of the game paraphernalia that I had. I have an N64 that vanished somewhere. I don't know where that is. A Sega Genesis that vanished into the ether as well. Little things like that is just really kind of sad that you lose these things. But oh well, what can you do? Except I wish that I had kept that Sega Genesis, because it's at least worth mine now from what I've seen at this convention. oh my gosh, seeing the games from the GameCube, that like Twilight Princess of the GameCube, which I had, they're like $170. Like, wow, that's apparently that would have been an investment, but I would never have known. Anyway, so on the Wii U, I picked up a couple of games. I've got a nice stack, and I grabbed one Wii game because it was like a really good deal. So I'll just kind of go through my list here, and it's kind of in no specific order. But I had been looking for, on my Switch list, I had Xenoblade Chronicles 10 on my Switch list of games to find. I actually didn't see Xenoblade 10 on the Switch in all of the mountains of Switch games people were selling there. But then I saw this, and I think I got it for like $10. So that was a great, really affordable way to play, not the definitive edition that's out now, but looking forward to popping that bad boy on in the near future. I haven't cracked that one open yet. I also found Hyrule Warriors. Now, Hyrule Warriors is acclaimed to be, by many people, especially on Reddit, to be better than Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity and all of the the new versions coming on the Switch too, the sequel, I guess you could say. So that was a game that I did actually go ahead and like boot that up the night I set up the Wii U. Came home on Friday night after I bought the Wii U, and that was fun. I just kind of played through a little bit, and I can already tell it's going to be a blast. And it's if you don't know anything about those kind of games, if you like the sort of Dynasty Warriors-esque, just beating the tar out of a mob of enemies, that's that vibe. If you don't like that vibe, that's not your game. Although being in the Zeldaverse, if you're a fan of Zelda, maybe you'll like that. I also, because they were an incredible good deal, and I've never played either one of them, I grabbed both Assassin's Creed 3 and 4. I'll get that on my camera there. So 3, and 4. I never played either one of these, but I'm a huge fan of fantasy and alternate history and those sorts of things. So I was really looking forward to just kind of checking those out because I've heard good things. I've heard the soundtrack, both of them. I haven't played any of them, and I've heard that the version of them that's on the Wii U is actually fun. It works out really well. So now in terms of Wii games that I found, they didn't have a ton. There was a ton of Wii games, but there wasn't a lot that I was like, I really want to get that. Especially because having the Wii U, it's not the same experience, with the Wiimotes and all that kind of stuff. The motion controls are different. I do have my hardware from the Wii, so I can pop that on and play some of those things. But over time we'll see what happens with that. But I never played it on the Wii. I had The Force Unleashed 1. I played that, and it was a fun game. And I had no idea that they even made a sequel because when that came out, I was living overseas, didn't have a console, wasn't looking at console games or any of that kind of stuff. So I went ahead and grabbed this just because I enjoyed the first one. So I figured, heck, for whatever, $5, whatever I paid for it, it might be worth it. And then, as I said, I didn't see for anything like a reasonable price the first 2 days the two games that I really wanted, the two Zelda titles I was looking for on the Wii U. So when I bought the Wii U, there was a guy who was selling a bunch of consoles bundled together, and he had a small selection of games. He had lots more for non-Nintendo consoles, but where basically if you bought one, you could pick out two games. Any two games you get for free in addition to the console you bought. So there was a really nice little deal, I guess. He didn't have any games I wanted, so he was willing to come down the price for me a little bit. So I got the Wii U for a cheaper price, and so that was good. I felt pretty good about that. That was day one. Day two, I looked around, I might have bought one or two of those other Wii U titles on day two, I think. And then as I went on day three, I came back hoping to find something as they were packing everything up that people just didn't want to carry. Although obviously, games are not they don't take up a lot of space, but anything that could sell off, a vendor's going to want to sell off if they can, right? So great. That was fun, and found a guy who was selling Wind Waker HD, and he wanted a little bit more than I wanted to pay for it. So I asked him what he could do, if it was the best he could do. He was willing to take 10% off. That still wasn't going to bring me where I wanted to be on it, so I was like, that's fine. I'll keep looking around. Maybe I'll come back. And one of the last spots I went to, I did see Wind Waker HD, and it was for $50, which is about what I've seen online. It was right there, no shipping. But I wanted to sweeten the deal a little bit, so I was able to get both Wind Waker HD, which was one of the things I went there, one of the grails I was looking for, Wind Waker HD, and also picked up a Switch game, Ni no Kuni 2. If you've seen other videos I have on the channel, you know I've played the first Ni no Kuni game. As a massive Ghibli fan, it's like kind of like diving into a Studio Ghibli game. It's got a fun story, and just fun sort of traditional RPG, gameplay. It's got that fun traditional vibe with really great voice acting. And I've heard good things about Ni no Kuni 2. I haven't heard that it's as well received as the first game in the franchise, but I figured I'd get it. It's a $55 for both of them. I felt pretty good, so all in all, I feel pretty good about this stack of games that I picked up. And I'm curious if you have any other games that you recommend getting on the Wii U. If there's anything you think that I should be looking for as I'm scouring the internet trying to build a library for this. I got to get some more shelves now to actually house specifically my my burgeoning disc. And obviously have a couple more Switch games back there. Library. But yeah, I mean, let me know if there's anything else you think I'm thinking I should get. Now, in terms of talking about the best things I love about the conventions, so that game convention was really fun. Like I said before, it was really cool to see just a bunch of people who were into the same sort of things that I'm into. So lots of people that are roughly my age or older, and a bunch younger than me, who were just really interested in all the nerdy things. There were people selling modded N64s that would play both American and Japanese games, which was pretty cool. There was a bunch of panels from people talking about gaming and cosplaying and all those kinds of things. It was just really fun to be sort of re-immersed in like the wider world of that community. Like when I was younger, we didn't have any kind of conventions. There might have been Comic-Cons in cities very far away, but that definitely would have been something I could have gone to. It was really cool to be in a place that had so many things. And I think so many I talked to a lot of the vendors who were running different booths there, and they were just really incredible people. Really, like a lot of artists that were making custom artwork, game related, anime related, and it was just a really just encouraging and fun place to be in. Everyone was very positive. And I mean, it was great, and it was very family friendly too. So when my kids were there was nothing that was that I was worried about for them. Like obviously for example, my kids got to play Super Mario for the first time on a CRT from the NES from one of the vendors who had a booth set up. Other vendors had found, they had this tiny CRT which was perfect. It had a little DVD player. I mean, it might have been like a 10-inch screen. Maybe it had bigger than that. Maybe it was a 12-inch screen. But it was like the perfect thing to take to a con as they're doing demos with all of these old consoles, because they were able to use play Duck Hunt. And so my kids had fun with that. I mean, it was just little stuff like that, which was just a fun thing to share from my childhood and sort of the experience that I had as a nerdy kid, and raising them to love stories and these things that encourage us, and they're just healthy places for us to spend as a family, just digging into these stories and fun, just is trying to build, this very sort of reflective life. Now I really, if you get a chance to come, I mean, maybe there's a con in your area, and if there are, definitely represent that. Go support those people. If you're close enough to drive into Southeast Game Exchange, like I was, definitely do it. It was a lot of fun, and I can't recommend it highly enough. I mean, it was just a really great experience. Tons of people, tons of great things. I mean, it was an overwhelming experience. There was so much to take in, so many options. It was just very nostalgic, and it was just very positive. So I had a lot of fun, and I hope that if you haven't gone to a game con like I hadn't, then you'll consider going to one. And also, you might pick up some deals. I mean, that you can always ask. I paid the asking price for a couple of these things. But I wasn't a jerk to anybody, but I had the budget that I had, and I was willing to ask, is there any wiggle room? And if you're not being insulting, they're really understanding, and the biggest thing is I'm not trying to flip these things, and I'm not a reseller. I'm just trying to build a library and have some media at home that's, in-house that I can enjoy, build more content here, talk about the stories and the experiences there, review for those of you who are interested in some of the games that I've played. If you haven't played them, be looking forward to that content. But other than that, I'm just really, really excited to dive into these things, and I hope that you're having a great day wherever you are, and check out cons, check out your local used game stores, go to used bookstores as well, and leave a comment below if you have any recommendations for games for me to check out for either the Switch or the Wii or Wii U. And anything else you think I should get into. If you have any questions about the GameCon that I went to or anything like that, I'd be excited to hear from you. Have a great day and be safe out there.